between the bees and the tweens. Between versus among. There's a difference between and among. You use between when you're writing about two things, and among when you're writing about more than two things. That's a quick and dirty tip, and there are exceptions, but if you remember that between is for two things, and among is for more than two things, then you'll be right most of the time. I'm expecting to hear a collective groan about the corny mnemonic that I'm going to give you, but I do think it will help you remember when to use the word between. Here's the sentence. Squiggly dreaded choosing between the bees and the tweens. The idea is that Squiggly is choosing between two different groups, bees and tweens, and the correct choice is be-tween. Here's a bonus. The difference between among and amongst is similar to the difference between while and whilst. Amongst is more common in British English and is considered old-fashioned or archaic in American English. I know some of you will be wondering about the exception to that rule. Here's the deal. You can use the word between when you're talking about distinct individual items, even if there are more than two of them. For example, you would say she chose between Harvard, Brown, and Yale, because the colleges are individual items she's choosing between. On the other hand, if you were talking about the colleges collectively, you would say she chose among the Ivy League schools. The in-betweeners. For those of you who may not know, tween is a word that's used to describe kids who are at that weird stage between childhood and their teenage years. Depending on whom you ask, a tween can be a youth who's anywhere from 8 to 14 years old. Bring it on. Bring versus take. I received a comment about bring versus take that I found especially interesting from a man named Farrell, who's from an unspecified country. His impression is that everyone in his home country knows the difference between bring and take, and it's just Americans who don't seem to be able to get it right. I don't know if that's true, but I'll take his word for it and try to do my part to fix the problem. Whether you use bring or take depends on your point of reference for the action. The quick and dirty tip is that you ask people to bring things to the place you are, and you take things to the place you're going. For example, I would ask Aardvark to bring Squiggly to my party next week, and then Aardvark would call Squiggly and ask, "May I take you to Grammar Girl's party?" I'm asking Aardvark to bring Squiggly because I'm at the destination. From my perspective, Aardvark is bringing someone here. Aardvark is offering to take Squiggly because he's transporting Squiggly to a remote destination. From Aardvark's perspective, he's taking someone there. Here are two examples that help me remember. First, think of a restaurant where you order food to go. It's often informally called getting takeout. When you get takeout food, you're moving the food from your location, the restaurant, to somewhere else, a destination. And it's takeout food, not bring out food. So you're taking food to a destination. Second, if I'm sitting at home feeling lazy, wishing dinner would appear, I would say, "I wish someone would bring me dinner." I imagine Pat stopping at a restaurant and getting dinner to go. From my perspective, he's bringing me dinner, because dinner is coming to my location. I suspect that one reason people get confused about bring and take is that there are many exceptions to the basic rules. For example, idioms such as bring home the bacon and take a bath, and phrasal verbs such as bring up, bring about, take down, and take after don't comply with the rule that bring means to cause something to go to the speaker, and take means to cause something to go away from the speaker. Nevertheless, when your point is that something is being moved from one location to another, the rule is that things are brought to the speaker and taken away from the speaker. You ask people to bring things to you, and you take things to other people. You ask people to bring you coffee, and you offer to take the dishes to the kitchen. You tell people to bring you good news, and you take your camera to the beach. As an aside, the past tense of bring is brought, as in, he brought me dinner. In some regions, people say brung or brang, but those words aren't standard English. Finally, an interesting note is that the words come and go follow rules that are similar to those for bring and take. Come is like bring. You ask people to come here, to come to where you are, and go is like take. You tell people to go away, to move away from your location. Aardvark and Squiggly will come to my party, and when Aardvark calls Squiggly, he'll say, "Let's go to Grammar Girl's party."